Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Solo Diaries. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you are new here, then this is a little series which I created at the beginning of the year. The very 1st of January, I started this, and it's basically like a little diary entry to myself every week and to kind of document how I've been feeling and the things which have been going on in my life, just so I can reflect back at the end of the year and be like, damn, like this happened, and just an overall honest review, like a little FaceTime catch up with my bestie. So thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Sophia. Let's get into this week, I guess. So a few things have gone on. There's a few things I actually want to talk about in this video because I feel like I'm at that point now where I'm like, I've always been honest, don't get me wrong, on my channel, but I'm just going to be more of myself and truly open up, like overshare. I'm going to overshare to the max. Now, yeah, overall, it's been an okay week. I'm not going to lie, I've cried a few times over different things. Firstly, I had a very bad endometriosis flare up. If you don't know, I do have endometriosis. It is a condition where the lining of your uterus grows in other parts of your body and can stick your organs together, which sounds pretty brutal, and it is. It's so painful. I've lived with this condition, diagnosed, I think, for like 5 years. I had a surgery once for it and had it removed, and I think it's come back. I was supposed to have a surgery like last year and I didn't because I went to Thailand, which wasn't my smartest move. But yeah, anyway, I had a really bad flare up and the pain was so bad. Like, I feel like the music's really loud, and I don't know, is the music really loud? I'm sorry if it is, but I've got my mic, so it's all right. But yeah, so I had a flare up and it was literally so painful and I couldn't move. I couldn't get out of bed for like a whole day and I felt rubbish, but it's life. What can you do? Then my friend Annika stayed with me for a night. She's from Germany and she's been visiting Chiang Mai, but she's not here anymore. So yeah, she stayed with me, which was cool. We went and made some jewelry together, which was fun. I don't know if I mentioned in the last episode, but I actually have been renting a motorbike. I think I did. And it's been super fun, like just to go out on a bike. And yeah, like I feel like I'm actually living, like I went to a viewpoint as well in the evening, which was really nice, by myself, and just reflected. And yeah, I feel really confident now and I'm so proud of myself for this, because I know you're supposed to push yourself out of your comfort zone, which is something I have been doing quite a lot, which yeah, I'm super proud of myself about. Now, the few things which I want to talk about which have been on my mind is like, I won't lie, like right now I feel good. I feel really good right now. I seem probably to you really good and I do feel good overall, but I've been having a lot of low moments recently where like, there's certain things, of course, which go on in your life and you can't control it. And when you realize you can't control other people's behaviors and you can't control what other people do, life, yeah, it does get easier, but it never makes the pain any easier. And recently, I don't know, I've just been having some dark times, I guess. And to someone on the outside, like, my life could look so picture perfect. People probably look at me and they're like, oh, because I get messages and comments like, wow, you're living in Thailand, you're living the dream. Yeah, I'm very grateful to live here and it is a dream, don't get me wrong, but there is the whole other side of it where there's sadness and there's loneliness. And the main thing, do you know what, I'm going to be completely real. Okay, let's spill the tea. Get your drinks ready, okay? Now, I met someone last year. And hello, but I don't know why I'm so close. I met somebody last year and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to turn this music down. It's so distracting. Okay. You guys probably couldn't even hear it, but I could hear it and it's really distracting. Okay, so I feel really weird talking about this because like this is something I've never talked about before. I met somebody this time last year, and it's a very sticky situation. And okay, when I met this person, let me just describe what happened. I walked into the gym one day. It's so crazy. I remember the exact date. I think it was like Saturday, the 9th of June or 6th of June. I don't know which day it was, but I know it was a Saturday, something of June. Both of those dates are relevant to this situation, but I can't remember which one. Anyway, so I walked into the gym and it wasn't my usual time that I go. This to me, like, I always think there's no such thing as a coincidence and everything happens for a reason, you know, like I'm a big believer in that. And I just remember, this is why I found the whole thing weird. Anyway, I walked in and I remember, like, as soon as I walked in, I could feel like an energy. And I was like, that's a bit weird. So I turned my head and I looked and I saw this guy. And as soon as I turned and looked, like, he looked directly at me and we made eye contact. And I felt something which I'd never felt before. And that sounds so cliche. And yeah, I just remember I felt something I never felt before. And I walked away and I whispered to myself, what was that? Like, what the hell? And I remember I whispered to myself and I was just like, what? And that's why I remember that moment so vividly, because it was enough for me to question and say out loud, like, what was that? Anyway, then I'm training in the gym. I'm minding my business. He's kind of like, you know, working out near me or whatever. I didn't think much of it, but I remember I sent a picture to one of my friends, like, of me, or it's on Snapchat, saying like, oh my gosh, there's this guy with an insane physique working out near me. Then I was like, I wonder who he is. I didn't speak to him, of course, like just maybe a smile or whatever, because he was like right next to me and he kept kind of lingering. Then I left the gym, and that night when I went home, not my proudest moment, I checked on Instagram to see if I could find him, like in the gym following. I sound like a stalker. I'm not a stalker, I promise. And I was like, I couldn't find him, and I accepted my fate. And I was like, well, I might never see him again. This isn't my usual time that I come. You know, I don't plan on like coming at this time. And after like looking maybe for like an hour, I accepted my defeat, and I was like, right, okay, I'm going to get off my phone now. I'm going to go to bed. And then I saw that someone had liked my story, and it was him. And like, obviously I didn't know that at first. I clicked on his page. I was like, who is this? I'd never seen this person before that liked my story, and it was him. So I messaged him and I was like, wow, like, you have a great physique. And like, was it you who I saw in the gym? And he was like, yeah, you know, you're very strong. I think he called me a strong woman. And I was like, oh, okay, that's different, but thanks. And then, yeah, like, we just got talking, we got chatting, and we become friends. And he invited me to work out with him. So we started working out together maybe a couple times a week. Literally didn't speak any English. That's why he didn't talk to me, because he couldn't communicate with me. And then I'm not going to actually say this, but I always keep these unfiltered, but I'm like, okay, there's like so much I can share. We kind of met up, you know, a few times. And I remember when we first met up, we met in One Man. And I remember I got my grab and I went to the square, and I'd never been there before. And there was a violinist playing as I walked in, and there was all these like fairy lights and stuff. And it was like something out of a movie. And I texted my mum and I was like, wow, it's like a movie, you know, and I'm meeting this guy. And I think this was before we worked out, actually. Yeah, must have been. And I remember exactly what he was wearing to this day, and how I felt, of course. And we just spoke, and we just sat outside and we talked for a few hours, and it was really nice. And, you know, we got to know each other. A lot of Google Translate back then, because obviously I didn't speak really any Thai. He didn't speak much English. Anyway, I don't even know where I'm going with this story. I'm just telling my story time of this big ordeal which has gone on in my life, because I'm just oversharing. Now, this individual I didn't expect to get feelings for, but as time went on, I developed a lot of strong feelings. Feelings which I can't describe, feelings I never knew existed, feelings that, yeah, I've never felt in my life. Now, this individual has brought out a side to me which I didn't know existed as well. I have wrote songs about this guy. I'm going to sound so weird, honestly. I wrote songs about this guy. I journaled about him a million times. I dream about him all of the time, and we still know each other to this day. And he knows how I feel about him, and I know how he feels about me. But what he says and what he does are obviously two different things. And how you act is very important. And when you, I don't even know how to word it. Someone's actions speak louder than words. And unfortunately, he gives me breadcrumbs, and I've tried to distance myself from him many, many times because he broke my heart many, many times. And now it's coming up to a year of us knowing each other and nothing's changed. False promises and things. We've gone back to being friends. I wouldn't even call it that we dated. It was I don't know what it was. But we spent a lot of time together. We've had trips kind of together. And yeah, it's been rough, I'm not gonna lie. And he also causes all of my low moments, and it's really sad for me to say that, but he does. And obviously there was a period where I didn't see him at all because I started dating someone else and I tried to move on and stuff. And I kind of thought to myself, well, this person clearly isn't supposed to be my person, so I need to distance myself and I need to move on because nothing is going to happen. It's just false promises and breadcrumbs. But he drives me insane. He physically drives me insane, and I never felt this about anyone before, and it really hurts. And I don't get sad. He doesn't make me sad. The situation makes me sad because I know my worth and I know I deserve so much more, and I deserve to be loved properly, and I deserve to be cared for. And the fact that I had cared for him so, so much and I never got it back is really disheartening. And when we see each other in public, it's like we're strangers. Sometimes it's not. And, sometimes we'll see each other occasionally in the gym and we'll do a mini workout or whatever together. It's not that deep. But I'm just wow, this whole thing is a secret, I've never spoken about it. I've never posted him. Vice versa, it's been the weirdest situation. But the reason I'm talking about this today, oh my gosh, I just dropped my charger on the floor. The reason I'm talking about this today is because it is so hard when you have to walk away from somebody that you do not want to walk away from. And it can be one of the most painful things. And genuinely, it is the reason of my loneliness. And then the main reason why I wanted to talk about it is because for me, it feels like he's ruined this place. This is his place. And I moved here. I moved to Chiang Mai by myself at 22. I did everything for myself. I still do. And I tried to make a home, I tried to build my own home and be here and be happy and live by myself and be independent. And then you meet somebody and they come along and it feels like they destroy it. And now for me, it doesn't feel like home. I feel sad. I feel heartbroken most times. I feel like I'm yearning, for somebody that doesn't even probably think about me. And it's so hard to think about that. So then I've been having a lot of thoughts of well, it's probably best if I move away when my lease ends so I can forget him and move on. And I know that's the right thing to do, but half of me doesn't want to move on because of how I feel about him. But I've tried stopping my feelings so much, and I just can't. It's just crazy. And when I paint and when I do stuff, it's he brings things out in me, as I say, I didn't know existed. But anyway, that's a little story time. I don't really know what else to say about that. It's, as I say, it's really difficult. And I don't even know how I'm going to feel posting this, to be fair. My friends, if any of my friends are watching this, obviously you guys know who I'm on about because I've crashed out about it to them multiple times. But I just wish he wanted me how I want him, but it's just not meant to be, clearly. And that's one of the hardest things to deal with. If I filmed this video 2 days ago, you would have had me in a completely different mood. Genuinely, a lot of nights I'd cry my eyes out and I just question, like, why am I not good enough for you? You know, like, why do you tell me one thing and then do another thing? And I told you, like, I'll give you everything, and that's what I want to do. And in reality, like, he just doesn't care. He really doesn't care. He told me kind of that he loved me once, but I don't think he does, because he doesn't act like it. So yeah. And then you realise, okay, you're going to have to just move on, and it is what it is. Accept your fate. And all of those meetings and things which I'm like, wow, it was meant to be. I don't know what the lesson was. I still don't know what the lesson was. I still think that it was fate that we met, because, as I say, I'd never felt this way about anyone before. And he's told me that the same thing, you know. And yeah, we've spoken a lot, and I really like spending time with him, even as a friend, when we hang out occasionally. You know, it's nice when we're just like hanging out platonically as friends. But unfortunately, I don't think this friendship can carry on anymore because of my feelings. And yeah, I'm just going to have to break it off, I guess, which I have already done, kind of. But yeah, I don't really know what to say. It's just painful, isn't it? And I don't know how I'm gonna feel at the end of the year when I watch this episode back, and it's gonna be like, wow, Sophia, you either moved on or you didn't. Man, I hope I move on. I really hope I gain the strength to cut him out of my life permanently. I cut him out of my life, I don't know, like 4 times already, and somehow I always went back, because I'm like, no, it's meant to be. Like, I don't get this feeling with anyone. So yeah. But like I say, these are just little journal entries to myself. And it's Sophia, future Sophia, when you watch this, please, for your own sanity, I know you don't want to, and I know it hurts, but you need to walk away. You need to leave, because you deserve better. And I know it hurts, and I know you feel lonely, and I know you're scared that you're not going to feel this way about someone again, but you genuinely deserve better than this person, because this person really doesn't care about you, even though he says he does. And yeah, I feel kind of like a weight's off my chest talking about this. You know, I'm not gonna lie, like, it does make me want to cry, because I know I deserve more. But I haven't cried today, so that's a win, and I don't plan on crying for the rest of the evening, fingers crossed. I really hope not. Yeah. But that is the root of my pain, unfortunately. And I know I bring it on myself. I really do bring it on myself, but it is what it is at the end of the day. And yeah, you can't help who you get feelings for, can you? At the end of the day, no, you can't. And he said I'll be his girlfriend one day. I don't believe that. I'm not waiting around. I was like, what? Like, am I a dog? Do I sit and wait? No, I'm so independent. And if I sit around and wait, I will just go crazy, and it's not fair. So yeah, I don't know what to say. Thanks, I guess, for listening to this little story time, if you have stayed and watched it to the end. I know it's a bit different to what I usually post, but I'm doing okay today. I just take each day as it comes, you know. I'm not going to lie and pretend always that everything's fine, because it's not. I really have been having some dark times. But I know I have the strength to get through it. I do every time. So that's what keeps me going. And having the support of my family and my friends being there for me, I'm really grateful for. And I know I'm not alone, and I know everyone goes through it. And yeah, but like 1 year, what? That's crazy. Imagine going a whole year thinking about someone every single day, every single night for a year. What? Like, they cross your mind in one way or another. That's not right. That's obsession. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next week of the Solo Diaries.